Good afternoon, everyone. So this afternoon, our debate is framed by the statement, death penalty should be legalized. This afternoon's moderator, let us welcome Trixie Wahingon. And we have our recorder. We have Maria Susette Sustuedo. Thank you. So to start with, may I call our moderator to introduce the opposing teams as well as our panelists. A round of applause, please.
Before we start, let me introduce the proposition team. First, we have Dante Catienda, Mercy Marangay, Susie Kate Berba, Rina May Lozano, Pio Boy Kaimoy, and Jess Arras. Well, from the opposition team, we have Daryl Tambis, Jennifer Nabuang, Judith Humaday, Mark Felicitas, Erica May Delivios, and Earl Tabigay. We also have with us to act as the judges for this debate. They are headed by our school principal, Mrs. Luz Tioy. We have our master teacher, Mrs. Violeta Oyangzon, and our OIC, Mr. Demetrio Bunget. So at this time, let us begin to listen from the opposition.
Aren't we tired of watching our televisions every day? Immoralists, evildoers, and injustice are increasing, and they are everywhere. Death penalty should not be taken away. Instead, it should be implemented into law. Because as we can see and observe, heinous crimes are rampant nowadays. Crime rate increased than before. People aren't afraid of committing crimes because they are not afraid of facing the consequences. They are not afraid of the law. Now is the time to give them what they deserve. Death penalty as a law will be effective in an instance where everyone will be afraid of the punishment of the law. After all, everyone of us fears death, right? Thus, it will deter them from committing crimes, giving a higher possibility of giving peace to our country. So why do we doubt and throw away that chance?
For me, death penalty should be taken away of giving punishments to those who commit crimes like imprisonment. Remember that there is a better choice of our decision, such as providing a rehabilitation center for those people who violate the law or for those law offenders. So remember also that murder occurs in a moment of passion, conjunction with psychological disability, and due to substance of abuse. So these characteristics requires a movement towards a rehabilitation rather than an execution. So enforcement of death penalty denies the opportunity for rehabilitation for those persons who offend the law of the Philippines.
Is it fair enough that the criminals are just being imprisoned while the victims' families are mourning for the loss of their loved ones? Is it fair for those who need justice while the criminals are just being rehabilitated? Think about that. criminals are taking away the life of others, commit human trafficking, turn other into rapists and murderers.
The aforementioned death penalty is really timely and relevant to our country, which is the Philippines. Upon observing this kind of case, well, there is unfair because if you're wealthy yourself, you can defend and you can be tolerated. Whereas if you are poor, you can even barely defend yourself because there is really a bias towards the justification. Because people as of now is really blinded of money. And as of now, I think that money can really buy one's humanity. And that really changes that certain kind of condition.
Well, I agree with your statement, but there is always a due process upon presenting the evidences, and to be followed by a due process. Death penalty is not that immediately sentenced or given as a punishment to those criminals. Well, death penalty is a call of action, and it needs a very rigorous or very careful planning. Therefore, if proven guilty, no one is excused, and so that it will serve as cautions to others who are violating the laws. And in the case of rich and poor, money and power, there will be an implementation that lawyers' salary will be increased. Salaries that would satisfy their wants, and so that they will not take sides to those people whom can defend themselves, even they are guilty. And not all the time, money, richness, and power win.
Lifetime imprisonment is enough to give chance for this person or to reflect their mistakes, and no one of us have the right to kill our fellow men because that is against the law. That penalty could be a model of taking someone's life, or as if it's done or implemented by the law.
If you say so, that the criminals are just given life imprisonment, what about the situation inside the prison? Like what happened to Herbert Polanco? He enjoyed a normal life inside the prison. He was experiencing a special treatment such as having a theater, air-conditioned room, and worst, having an illegal business inside the prison according to the ongoing investigation. So do you think this is what justice should be? And how about the victims that were killed by that criminal? Is it fair enough to punish them by life imprisonment rather than death penalty? The criminal continued living, but the victim is not. So again, do you think this is what justice should be?
If that is the case, that the prisoners are enjoying normal life in prison, then the government should fix the justice system here in our country. If there is this strict implementation of the justice system, then how are these situations like Polanco happen? What did the DOJ authorities around do? Did they conduct inspections? How did this happen? We all know that the justice system here in our country is not yet fixed, because at some cases, it seemed to be unfair. And yet the government is proposing need to focus on what problem we are having right now. Don't you think they have to first focus on those corrupt implementers of the law first before proposing another law again? How sure are you that if this death penalty be approved, justice will be fair enough?
We have already a fair justice system. Only that one problem is about those who are implementing the law. For example, the situation of the then DOJ Secretary de Lima, who's supposed to be responsible for proper implementation, but today she herself is violating the law, and as we can see, she is now in prison. Therefore, no one is excused or absolved from this law. And as I observe with the daily news, there is always the circumstances that they're always mentioning those professional persons who are serving to our nation that is also violating the law. And just like Senator De Lima did. And then for the given example, it says that whether you are rich or poor, you are not excused with this once you commit an heinous crimes.
If the implementation is the problem, then to what extent should be the testimony, the proof of the violator to prescribe a remedy to a death penalty? What will happen to the innocent lives that will be accused? With what happened to the lives if the authorities are fixed in the implementation? When will be she accused, despite the number of evidence presented?
Because we have the due process, it had undergone careful planning. This means that what happened to the Lima is part of the due process, where she is given also her right to defend herself. That's why lawmakers and implementers are carefully following the proper process to be implemented before a person is due for death penalty. And of course, death penalty is not that easy process, because it is a very serious matter. Obviously, it only sums up to only one result, the loss of human life. That's why lawmakers and implementers give emphasis that there will be a proper process, a rightful process to be followed before giving the final judgment or decision, which is the death penalty.
We should not take one's life immediately, nor to do so. Every judgment must undergo the due process. Let us give them the rights that suits to them, even though they already committed punishable acts, or even though they already offended the law. Because like us, they are also humans. Whatever rights we have, they also have. Let us give them the chance to do the things that are usual, but with limitations. Proper punishment should be given to those offenders. But nevertheless, death penalty should undergo the due process, just like what I have just been said earlier, so that there will be no doubts at all in doing such a very serious thing. And it is said that it is the way or the solution in diminishing the number of crimes that is rampant in our country. It is therefore fair to say that before the implementation of the death penalty, clear guidelines and strict achieved to this person should be observed.
My question is for the opposition team. How are you sure that criminal or violators will reflect or change inside a prison?
In my own point of view, the violators or the criminals will change themselves into a better person inside the rehabilitation center or in the prison, because they will be educated inside morally, physically, and spiritually. That's all. As an addition to what he said, we are really sure that those criminals or those law offenders will change inside the rehabilitation center, because there they will be disciplined like a normal person, unlike when they are treated outside, the people around them will treat them as a criminal. So those person also will change with the help of others. Remember that people do bad things when they are stressed or scared. We can help them by giving love and care that they must deserve.
My question is for the proposition team. What are your bases that death penalty should be legalized?
Well, death penalty should be legalized because, as we can see nowadays, the heinous crimes are very rampant. And our basis is we have our due process. We have our due process that excuses no one. Additional answer to your question. If you will notice, there are still criminals that are showing that they're not afraid of the consequences of every action they made. It means that they're not afraid of the law. So death penalty will serve as a caution for them to avoid using or making any offense or any action against the law. This will serve as a caution, but of course there will be a due process to be followed. That's all.
Thank you, everyone. This time, let us listen to our recorder, the statements defended by the opposing teams.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our topic goes within this statement: death penalty should be legalized. According to the proposition, death penalty should be legalized because, according to them, this is the best solution to stop the violator and criminals to commit such crimes. This is to caution all the people to be aware of the consequences of their actions. According to them, law excuses no one, and that is applied to all the people. Due process is strictly adhered in order to give fair due to those who are involved in any crime. In our country, we have already seen a situation where justice and due process are applied even to those authorities or implement it. No one are exempted from the law. That is why death penalty should be legalized to stop those heinous crimes which are rampant nowadays. On the other hand, the opposition stands that death penalty is not the right way to punish the law violators because there are other ways to instead of doing such. Life imprisonment and rehabilitation are what they prefer rather than death penalty. Because according to them, we don't have the right to kill our fellow men. This is also to give chance to those violators or criminals to reflect and change. And in our country, the issue is on the justice system, which is not fair according to them. Those who don't have money will likely to be imprisoned,
while those who have the money also have the power and could easily be freed. According to them, our justice system should be fixed, and death penalty is not the solution for resolving crimes.
Thank you. Now let us come to listen to the judges of their comments and feedbacks about the issue and the statement defended by the opposing teams.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I would like to commend everybody for a job well done. So as you notice, you were able to express yourselves, no? So debate is not only a way to to fulfill a certain task in school. This is also one of the avenues where students can apply what we call critical thinking. And based on what we have seen, you all did a good job.
Good afternoon to the participants. In the first place, I would like to congratulate your teacher who manages this activity, and of course, participants. From this moment, I was able to know that you already have your own ideas and opinions, especially with regards to this present issue. No? This is the, kumbaga sa cellphone pa, the ringtone, yan na, mga ako din ang pag-uusapan sa aton what. But anyway, I appreciate much on your defenses. In your own way of appreciating the issue, how you are going to, or how you appreciate whether to proceed or to approve for the legalization of death penalty or to disapprove. Well, each one of us has our own reason, di ba? Nobody can dictate us our own decision. But of course, I know you have your own decisions that you think that is right for you. Nobody claims to be wrong for every opinion. Ano? For as long as everyone will be responsible of your opinion. Well, I think you have the right to proceed or to approve for the legalization of the death penalty for some reasons. But you also have, opposition has also have the reason to disapprove for the reasons also. It is now up for you to weigh things. What is best for us and for the Filipino people, and in general for our country, the Philippines. Thank you and congratulations.
But of course, speaking to that death penalty, parang for me, I have the reason to say yes. in some reasons, but of course, to say no for some reasons. Kasi like for example, these heinous crimes, why just include limited to drugs? What about those mga heinous pa nga ibaliwat nga, like for example, rape cases? Ang rape cases nga, especially those mga young victims, just imagine, ano? So, for that kind of situation, I should say yes to death penalty. But of course, for us na rin pa mga Catholic people, ano? Of course, we have to think of pro-life, no? Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That ends our debate.